Welcome to our YouTube channel. Well, hope you're having a good winter. In today's session, we're going to look at Biology 2017, and then we're going to look at on the essay part, question number 7. Okay, so the question reads, explain the function of the following nerve cells. Roman numeral 1, sensory neuron. Roman numeral 2, motor neuron. And Roman numeral 3, that is relay neuron. Okay, so looking at this question, one thing you have to understand about neurons is the position, which one comes first, and its function. Okay, so for example, you are having a hand here, okay? Forgive me, I'm not an art. Pew, pew. So, for example, this is your hand, okay? On your skin here, you've got what we refer to as the what? Receptor. Okay, so receptor, this receives the message. Okay, so for example, you are touching a hot object. Let me just say a candle. Okay, you've touched a candle. So on your skin, like I stated, you've got the receptor. So the receptor will get this message and transfer it to the what? To the sensory neuron. Okay, and this sensory neuron goes up to where? To the CNS. That is the central nervous system, okay, which is found on your spine. So this sensory neuron, it will take the impulse and take it to the what? To the spine. And there in the spine, there is what we refer to as the relay neuron, or an intermediate. And then there is also what we refer to as the what? Motor relay. So the relay, it just acts as an intermediate, okay? It is between the two sensors or the two neurons. And then the motor gets the message or the impulse from the central nervous system to the what? Effector. That can be a muscle or a gland. Okay, that is what you have to know. The sensory comes first, and then there's an intermediate or a relay neuron, and then the last one, which is the what? The motor. So having our question here, explain the function of the following nerve cells. Okay, the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron, like I stated, it gets the impulse, or it receives the impulse from the receptor to the what? To the central nervous system. Did you get that one? I'll repeat it. The sensory neuron gets the impulse from the receptor to the central nervous system. We've explained its function. Let's go to the motor. The motor, it is the last one, okay? The last neuron. So this neuron receives the impulse or receives the message from the central nervous system. That is from, from the central what? Nervous system to the what? To the effector. This effector can be a muscle or a gland. And then the relay, also known as an intermediate, okay, just acts as an intermediate. So it receives the impulse from the sensory and transfer it to the what? To the neuron. The relay just receives the impulse from the sensory and deliver it to the what? To the neuron. Well, we've got our first part of the question correct. Let's go to part B. So part B states, describe giving example in each case, the spinal reflex action and the conditioned reflex action. Okay, so the spinal reflex action, this is where a message or an impulse pass through the spinal cord. So the example that I had stated earlier about the hand, okay, so this hand, it is connected to the central nervous system, which is found where? In the spinal cord. In the spinal cord. Okay, so for this impulse, since it is passing through the spinal cord, it is referred to as the spinal reflex action. Okay, so if we're describing this, we've described this is where an impulse passes through the central nervous system. And also the part of this question states giving example. So an example that you can give, where we can say a knee jerk arc, a knee jerk arc, or a hand touching a hot surface. That is an example. While a conditioned reflex action, this is where an organism is trained to respond to a situation. For example, if a dog, okay, anytime you want to give food to a dog, you ring a bell. You find that as time goes by, the time you are going to ring that bell to give it food, on itself, the dog will be salivating. Okay, saliva will be coming out of out of the mouth of the what of the dog. Why? Because it has been trained that anytime the bell rings, food is ready. Hope you are preparing good food for the dog. So it is trained that anytime the bell rings, the food is ready. So that dog, it is going to respond by salivating. Okay, well, hope you enjoyed my lesson, and hope to see you again. Please don't forget to subscribe. We love you. I'm your brother and friend, Emmanuel.